Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols and I'm here to bring you your Nicholsworth, and today from Supernesis Comics we have the Anime Bible, and this is the first 6 volumes. They're coming out with several others. This kind of takes you through the story of Judges, ultimately through the story of Samson. So now let's take a look at what's going on here. First of all, this anime art is probably among the most anime accurate that I've ever seen. I am not a big fan of anime, but my son is, so I had him walk me through this and show me exactly what was going on. But we have 6 episodes. Obviously, this is going to cover early Genesis, and then moving through the story of the Bible into the history of God's people, and ultimately into the period of Judges, and ending with Samson. So now let's take a look at some of the artwork, because this is pretty excellent. Now, one thing that you need to know is this is Javier Ortiz's work, and English is his second language, so we're still kind of working through some of the spellings and some of the typos and grammar and different things, but the next edition that he comes out should have everything perfectly fixed. But with all that said, let's take a look at some of the art, because anime is strange in the way that it's drawn for us in the Western world. Now, this does open like a normal Western book would. Most anime would open the other way, so it's going to open the way that you're used to, but this is full color, really nice. Now this is the beginning, moving into the story of creation, and sometimes in order to get the image to fit better, you will turn it sideways, and you can see that whenever it's a narrative, it's in these rectangular boxes. That means that it's not someone actually speaking, it's being narrated by someone. But then when you move into actual character dialogue, you'll see these little quotation boxes. You'll also see when they're thinking. We'll have the little thought bubbles. When something's going on in the background, you'll see the sounds going on. It's really neat to see this. The artwork, let me show you some examples of anime that I had to ask my son, is this normal? And see how this kind of looks a little sloppier than some of your comic? That is an anime feature. Even like this, where it doesn't show their faces, that's more of an anime feature. As you walk through this, we're going through the ark and the flood, and just so many different stories in Genesis. And when you get to the end of each one, it gives you a little synopsis. It says, remember, friends, that God has given you a new name to change your prophetic destiny. God wants everything in your life to be aligned with His divine plan. So this is focusing more on the story of Jacob and how God changed his name. We'll look through a couple more just to show you the art. This is episode 2, and this begins with the story of Moses and the burning bush, moves into his interaction with Pharaoh, and ultimately concludes with the parting of the Red Sea and the Egyptian army drowning. In episode 3, we move into the story of Moses and his divorce and remarriage to a Cushite woman, and the controversy that caused, and leprosy breaking out on Miriam's skin. Pretty wild stuff in the Bible. And then, of course, it ends with another little lesson, because the leadership was transferred to Joshua. A good leader does not belittle you, but he guides you with example and patience. So each one kind of has a little wise saying. This one focuses on the story of Joshua leading the people and the walls of Jericho falling down. This one begins to move into the period of Judges, and it's kind of a continuation. And then this one moves into the story of Samson and is a continuation of his story. So whenever the story ends kind of abruptly, for example, this one, when you get to the end, it will let you know this is to be continued. So this volume 4 moves kind of also into the period of the Judges after Joshua as well. So it gives you that transition. Now, let me talk to you about anime Bibles real quickly. Number one, it's not a Bible. Make sure that you know that. I actually would prefer them not to call it an anime Bible, maybe call it Anime Bible Stories or something like that. This is a very quick-paced run through the stories of the Bible. So these are always best used with parents who are reading the Bible to their children so they don't miss the details. Sometimes the details are in the art, and sometimes the details just simply have to be missed, or this thing would be this thick. So if you're into anime and you love the anime artwork, Supernesis does some great work, and they're getting some kinks worked out, and I really believe there's some awesome things they have in the future. They also have coloring books and all sorts of different notebooks and different types of things in order to keep your kids engaged in the Bible. But remember, anime is not a replacement for the Bible. It is more of a source of entertainment to get your kids engaged. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.